And that's not fun for me.
This is so stupid.
Have any reason to root for these people.
Maybe we should bring back book burning.
Hi, hello, welcome to Chaos Central Books. My name is Claire, and today I am reading the new Emily Henry book to see if I can be happy again. That'll probably be the title of this vlog. Stay tuned to see if it works. I am reading Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I won this in my Indie Bookstore Day raffle. Shout out to White Whale. I would not have bought this otherwise. Number one, because I don't like hardcovers. Number two, Emily Henry is on a downward trajectory for me. Sorry. I read and loved Beach Read, God, 2020. I don't know when that book was released, but I remember reading that and being like, oh my God, I like a romance book. Insane. And then I read People We Meet on Vacation, again, loved it. Book Lovers, again, huge hit in my house. And then Happy Place happened. And Happy Place, wow, I hated that book. That book made me feel so mad because I love Emily Henry's writing. I think she's a fantastic author. And that book irked me deeply. I didn't buy that book, thankfully, because that's when they started releasing them in hardcovers instead of just straight to paperback. And I take issue with that. I realize publishing is trying to make a quick buck. Not for me. I will put my holding at the library and wait patiently. And I did. And I'm glad because I did not want to pay money for that. And then funny story happened, slight redemption from Happy Place, but still not hitting like the good Emily Henry books I know and love. We're giving her one last shot, mostly because I own this book now. And I didn't have to pay for it. So we're starting. I actually started this yesterday, and I think I read the first chapter, and I was very thrown off for a very stupid reason. Do you guys think the font in this book is weird? I'm like convinced that this font is strange. Is that weird? Is it weird? I don't know. It's like not a Times New Roman, and it's not quite like a Garamond. Maybe it's a Georgia. Are you guys on a first name basis with the font choices? At least it's serif. Like a sans serif font in here would be crazy, but like I'm really thrown off. I need standardized font choices, people. I love Times New Roman, okay? I used to be a Times New Roman hater in my youth because it was like, why can't we have whimsy in our writing? No, not in my books. I want Times New Roman. Anyway, so that's why I read only one chapter yesterday, but right now I'm feeling so burnt out from just talking for like 2 hours. I talked so much about nothing, just about books I know nothing about. I just own them. Turning the brain off and reading Emily Henry. Hopefully, I like it. Otherwise, everyone's in for a bad vlog of me not liking another book. So fingers crossed, stay hopeful. This has been an update. Hey book people, let's do an update. I read 88 pages of Great Big Beautiful Life last night, and my initial thoughts. I think our main character is a bit too peppy for my personal taste. Me and well-meaning happy people don't really mesh. So that's a bit of a struggle for me personally. I think I might be allergic to having a good time. More on that later. Otherwise, I think this book is fine for the most part. I'm reading it quickly, which is good. Like that I'm being drawn in that way. The main male character feeling a little flat for me. Also, I don't know if anybody else feels this way about this book particularly. Both of the people are journalists, and each conversation they have feels a bit like an interview. Like, hey, why do you have this deep childhood trauma? What's going on there? Maybe we just talk like normal people. Maybe we clock out for the day. I don't know. Maybe that's just me reading into things. Again, might be allergic to having a good time. Who's to say for sure? If you have thoughts on it, let me know. Are y'all reading this? Is my audience the type of people who read this? I don't know. What is my audience? I can't be sure. Otherwise, it is definitely giving Evelyn Hugo. Unfortunately, I know a lot of people were making that comparison as well when this book first came out. For better or for worse, it's hard to say at this point. I'm not hating it, plus, but I'm also not loving it, minus. So feeling very neutral about the whole reading experience. But I'll take neutral. If I'm not hating a book, I feel like that's kind of a win. I read a little bit more today. I'm now on page 124, and this book is like over 400 pages, I want to say. So almost a third of the way there. Does that math track? Yeah, it does. That tracks. I can do math in my head. Almost a third of the way there. We will see how I'm feeling. Other miscellaneous updates. Painted my nails. This is Mooncat, the brand Mooncat, their magnetic nail polish. It's their Star Wars collab, the color Scum and Villainy, which is so random, but you can see there's like a cat eye effect. I literally FaceTimed my friends last night because I painted this nail and I was like, guys, this one nail turned out really good. And then I messed them all up. So, I mean, they still turned out decent for me. But at one moment, the cat eye was like really cat eyeing. And that's all I have to say. My life is not that exciting. I got a new candle from Bath & Body Works today. That was exciting. My local coffee shop, they have their fall menu out. Last week when we went there, my friend and I each got the banana bread latte. That was banger. Today, she got the banana bread latte as well. But I was like, hey, I'll spice it up. And I got their apple pie chai. So good. I'm normally not an apple person in the fall. I don't really like apple or pumpkin as fall flavors. I stick to maple. That's kind of my vibe. However, the apple pie chai, top tier, top tier. I love my local coffee shops. Okay, so that's my update. I'm gonna go read some more of this book, and that's about it. Does anybody else have the experience where as soon as the sun goes down, you have to take out your contacts and put your glasses on, otherwise you can't see? Or is that an experience unique to me? Sound off in the comments. I don't know what this camera angle is either. We're just gonna roll with it. I have an update. I was so scared for a minute that this book was going to go down an incest plotline. Thrilled to report it did not. Avoided that. Was scared though. They had me scared. I am currently on page 156. I just made it to chapter 15. Low key want to quit for the night. It's only 7 p.m., but I just like, I don't know. I'm not feeling drawn to keep reading right now. I don't know. Maybe I will read more of The Rest of Our Lives by Ben Markovits, or maybe I will read nothing. Who's to say? Any further thoughts on this book? The characters have remained the same. Nobody's really intriguing me right now. That's kind of it. God, I wish I had a fun time. I wish I could say, oh my God, love this book, but I'm just not feeling that way right now. Maybe it'll get better. Stay tuned. I'm so excited for this. Hold on. I am not sponsored by V8 Energy, but I swear to God, if I was on the brink of death and somebody opened this near me, I would bounce back to full health. Hey, groovy people, long time no update, meaning one day. I took yesterday off, not intentionally. I am dog sitting currently, change of location. And I say dog sitting, but really I'm taking care of practically a farm because it's only 2 dogs, 6 cats, and 7 ducks. So a lot more than just dogs. Anyway, but yesterday I was preparing, like packing, watering all my plants, so none of them died. And then in the middle of the day, I get a fun little email warning me that Friday, as in tomorrow, because now it's Thursday, I will be getting my bar results. So cue the spiral. I was so anxious that I immediately, upon seeing the email, said, oh no, repeatedly and out loud for 2 minutes. Nobody else was there. I was just saying it to myself. And then I went for a 2.5 mile walk as an attempt to burn off the anxiety. And guess what? Didn't work. Still here. Still anxious. Still had nightmares last night. Whole ordeal. So that kind of derailed me. And then I didn't do an update yesterday, although I did read yesterday. I am now, God, what page am I on? I'm on page 246. So is that over halfway? I don't know if the people who are watching this are like fans of this book, but I, in an attempt to be nice, will give a compliment sandwich. Sorry, if you guys hear a weird noise, one of the cats is playing with the toy they got for their birthday. And it's this weird little like robot laser thing, and it has like these little like octopus arms where it shoots out like a little feather thing. Compliment sandwich time. You gotta think of the nice thing. Here's my big issue. Here's the reason why I quit reading yesterday. Third act conflict needs to die. I don't know who decided that every romance author needs to follow the formula of there being a conflict in the third act, but whoever that is owes me damages for emotional distress. I'm so tired of reading the same contrived third act conflict that doesn't matter because you know how the ending is going to happen anyway. So why does there need to be a meaningless conflict? Because a lot of the time they're grasping at straws to find something that the characters like disagree on, or the conflict just feels so out of left field. It's not believable. These people wouldn't stop talking to each other for this stupid reason, especially in this book. Okay, I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but this third act conflict in particular just irritated me so much that I was like, I'm done for the day. I read other books yesterday. I couldn't deal with this. Positive, the nice part of our compliment sandwich, I like that Emily Henry writes about tall people. I know that sounds so stupid, but I'm so tired of, I'm saying I'm so tired as if I constantly read romance. I don't constantly read romance, but I remember there was a time where every romance book I did pick up, it was just like the smallest woman you've ever met and the tallest man she's ever seen, and them falling in love. And I'm like, this has to be like an occupational hazard. If you have a height difference of over 1 foot, like that's just not comfortable for anybody. So why are we writing romances like that? Let's be realistic, okay? The man can still be tall, that's fine, but love to see support for tall women. So shout out Emily Henry for that. Okay, now the bad part of our compliment sandwich, finishing it out. I have no reason to care about any of these people in this book. There has been no character development. There's been no reason for me to feel endeared to them. They just seem like they're tropes on the page, and that's not fun for me. I need to care about them to keep reading. I feel like what Emily Henry has been so good at historically for me is writing characters that I care about. I loved the characters in Beach Read and Book Lovers. I found them so entertaining and easy to root for. I don't have any reason to root for these people because I don't know what they're going through. Like, why do I care about them? They're so flat. So flat. And I don't know if this is because she's burnt out by turning out a book a year, or maybe we've just run out of good ideas. I don't know. But honestly, quite frankly, like, this book is, it's a nothing burger of a book, and it's so long. Like, this book is over 400 pages, and I'm like, for what, girl? For what? That being said, I would like to finish it this week, mostly because I don't want to keep reading it. Like, I want it to be done so I don't have to think about it anymore, and that's not really what you want from a reading experience, is it? So those are my updates. Today I will spend the time hanging out with the dogs. I already did our morning cat check in the barn, checked on the ducks. At least 3 eggs have been laid. Gotta collect those. Otherwise, just chilling for a week. I brought many other books. Do you guys want to see all the books I brought to dog sit? Hold on. The white whale bag of goodies. This is one of my recent library pickups. This is Maggie, or a Man and a Woman Walk into a Bar by Katie E. I've seen just a lot of good things about this, so I wanted to read it, and I picked it up from the library, and for some reason it wound up in my bag. It's at the top of the list, I guess. Real Life by Brandon Taylor. Needless to say, I was a little ambitious with how many books I can attempt to read. Northwoods by Daniel Mason. It Lasts Forever and Then It's Over by Marcken. This one I probably can't finish while I'm here. Flashlight by Susan Choi. And my e-reader. So I've got options, but first I have to finish this book that I don't like. Okay, so that's the update. I will check in later, maybe, regarding the bar updates. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. If you're seeing this, that means I survived it. Realistically, yesterday I was just like drafting in my head all the ways I can tell people I failed in a way that doesn't make it seem like dramatic or self-pity. I feel really, really bad about it. And everyone's like, oh, you're not meant to feel good about the bar exam. It's always really hard. I think had I felt confident I got a single question correct, I could maybe muster some self-confidence. But I was like, maybe I'll get a score like low enough to at least pass in another state, because Pennsylvania's like UVE scores demand a higher score, but it's a difference of like 10 points. Like, if I want to go to Minnesota or whatever, that's a difference of 10 points. That's not enough. I'm gonna need like a 50-point buffer at least. Like, it was so bad, guys. I only told one person, non-law school related, that the scores are coming out, because I didn't want to tell everybody. And then, but you're seeing this now, news is out. So, not feeling good about it. I'm not bothering with a microphone for this audio. Got my email, my results are ready. This is so stupid. I'm not somebody who gets sad often. I feel like I dodged and weaved around that in my adolescence as a depressed youth, but now I'm quick to anger. So I've really already processed all of the sad emotions, but the anger is still lurking. I am fully prepared to tell everybody I failed. And I'm not doing this sober. My version of alcohol is V8 energy, because I'm well. I don't even know why I'm not recording this, because who's gonna see this? And I have headphones in because I'm listening to P1 Harmony. Thank you. I'm gonna have to tell my dad I failed. Pulling it up. I passed the bar exam. I wish I could be coherent right now. Cut the cameras. So during all of that, the Dalmatian was guzzling water. I feel like I've been pranked.
I cannot believe it. Guys, that exam was so bad. Oh my god. The amount of scenarios I envisioned and where I had to tell people how I failed and how badly I failed. And they're saying, congratulations, I passed. Whoa. I truly am just like, whoa. Low-key kind of terrified because now real life starts. But at least I don't have to do it again. I don't have to do it again. Oh my god. I get to throw away all of my Themis material. I wish I had like confetti. Wow, what a time to be alive, guys.
Look at him back there. He's so cute. Sleeping away. I cannot express to you all how relieved I am that I don't have to take that test again. And I really thought I was going to have to. I know it seems like I'm being dramatic because the majority of people pass that test. I think if I had felt like an ounce of confidence, I would have felt better about it. But I was fully prepared to not pass. I've spent the entire day in shock because I don't know how that happened. So relieved that it happened. And I've been very fortunate to have a very supportive group of people who have all congratulated me. I made a lot of phone calls today. My favorite interaction, my younger brother and I do this thing where we FaceTime each other to get live reactions to images. So we'll send a picture and be like, I need your live reaction to this image. So I call him, I'm like, hey, I need your live reaction. So I sent him the screenshot of like the congratulations you passed thing. And he read it and gave like a very sincere woohoo. It was very nice. And then he was making breakfast at the time, and he proceeded to drop his pancakes on the floor and emit a sound I've never heard from him. It was the funniest thing ever. Love him to death. And then hours later, he called back and he said, how come nobody ever congratulates me when I go to the bar? And that's hilarious. He's the funniest person on the planet. So yeah, that was a highlight. I texted my brother, one of my older brothers, just like, hey, I passed the bar, and he said, huge. And he said, it's a shame the Dolphins suck this season though. He gets it. I can't express to you all how crazy that exam was. I don't wish it on my worst enemy. And some of my worst enemies were taking it. Like the experience of sitting in a windowless concrete room, the coldest, drabbest, most humiliating experience of your life. And for 2 days. For 2 days, you do that. And I've taken bad tests before. Like I took AP Chem and Calc in high school, and I shouldn't have done those at the same time, if at all. But I took the AP exams and did not pass them. The bar exam felt like if I had spent months preparing for a calc test, and like I knew derivatives and integrals front to back, and I felt confident that I would be tested on those things. And even if I missed some questions, like I knew what I was getting myself into. And then I go and I sit in that windowless concrete room surrounded by other high-strung individuals, and I open the test booklet and it's on the Scarlet Letter. I've never read the Scarlet Letter, but I've seen Easy A. So I can make some guesses based on my knowledge of that movie that I've seen years ago. But it's definitely not at the top of my mind. And I definitely wasn't prepared to talk about the Scarlet Letter because I was busy preparing for calculus. That's what that test felt like. Those essays were so bad. I knew I was on the phone with my friend Alexa because we both went through it, and thank God we both passed. But we were talking on the phone and she was like, nobody's ever going to get to know how much I know about attachment and perfection. I was like, I have not thought about that since the exam, but I knew so much about secure transactions going in, and they didn't even test us on it. I was so mad about that. I was like, why did I learn attachment and perfection? It's all nonsense, dude. It's all nonsense. But it's in the past. I don't have to take it again. I can throw out all that stuff. If anybody's in the market for Themis law school materials for bar prep, let me know. I'll give them to you for free. It was so bad. I can't believe I passed. I really can't. So that's enough about that exam. I never have to think about it again. It's in the past. It's done. It's done. Who wants to talk about the book I don't like now? I did read some yesterday. Great Big Beautiful Life, what this whole thing is about. I read some of it yesterday. And the third act conflict to the third act makeup, so anger inducing. Like I said, I'm quick to anger these days. The wrath I felt, so stupid. It's all so stupid. I just wish these characters felt a little more realistic, or at least endearing. Even if they're like a little like rose colored, I could accept that. if I liked them. But I have no reason to like these people. They just feel like caricatures of themselves, which is not fun to read about. I don't know why this book exists, to be honest. Like, I don't know what she was trying to do because, like, it doesn't feel like romance centered. These people hardly know each other. I'm not buying that they're falling in love. They don't talk. They haven't talked about anything. They're just interviewing each other and they're interviewing this one lady who I also don't care about. I remember a long time ago, old school Ali V video, Ali V, Allison Pages. You know the vibes. She was reading, I think, Evelyn Hugo, and she's like, I don't like reading about rich people. And I was like, well, I mean, sometimes I guess I can, but now I'm at the point where like I don't like reading about rich people. I don't care about this person. So I'm really can you tell I'm like so frazzled today? I cannot stop fidgeting. That's the update. I will check in later.
Sup, book people? I'm still not doing the microphone, mostly because I do not want to. Trickling water you hear is the fish tank over there. The dogs are outside sunbathing like little cuties. And I took several days off. I didn't want to do this, mostly because after the bar results, my brain was fried, being like, oh my god, what do I do now? That's what I've been dealing with. This is my last day of dog sitting. It's Tuesday. My sister and her husband, which feels so weird to say, they come back tonight, like late at night. And so I'm leaving tomorrow. This has been fun though. The dogs have been chill. Let's talk about the book I've been reading. I've reached page 366 of what I think is 416. So I'm going to finish this today, one way or the other. I just need to check in and say I don't like this book. I've turned the corner on being neutral. I'm now a hater. Which we knew was coming, right? We knew I wasn't gonna like this book. To answer the question, reading the new Emily Henry to see if I can be happy yet, answer, no, can't be happy. I maintain though that this is not a good book because these characters mean nothing to me. I think I'm just mostly frustrated because there's no reason for me to care about any of these people. They feel so completely flat. And like, why do we care about any of them? The story I'm most interested in is Alice's. No, not Alice. God, who's Alice? Is Alice the main character? I actually don't even know their names. Hayden's the guy. I think Alice is the girl. And then Margaret's the old lady. I think I'm mostly interested in Margaret because she's hiding stuff. So I want to figure out what she's hiding. But I don't care about the romance because these people are boring. There's no banter. There's no reason for me to care about their relationship. And also, it's moving ridiculously fast. I actually have a series of gripes. If you will, I'll indulge me in this. These are probably considered spoilers. If you care about this book, I'll put a timestamp or whatever when I'm done talking about spoilers. But right now, I just need to air some grievances, if you will. Grievance number 1. This guy is dumb. I don't like him. He has this whole thing about how they're competing for the same job, right? So he doesn't want to get like involved with our female main character, whose name I'm not calling. Is it Alice? Maybe it's Alice. Doesn't matter to me. He doesn't want to get involved with our female main character because then she'll hate him after he gets the job. You know, it'll ruin whatever they build between them in these few weeks. Emphasis on few weeks. So he's like, I'm not gonna have sex with you. Okay. And then proceeds to cross every other boundary. Like, why is that like the pinnacle of connection? He tells her he loves her. You mean that's not going to ruin whatever you have when you compete for this? Like, it's so stupid. This arbitrary boundary he creates. And then the whole time it's just like, are we going to have sex? Are we not going to have sex? Who cares? I don't care. I want to skip those parts. You guys aren't interesting to me. Oh, the Theo of it all. Why do I know his name? So our female main character, whose name may or may not be Alice, she has this boyfriend who's not a boyfriend named Theo, a situationship, if you will, which I hate as a word, as a concept, hate it. Enough of that. She has this guy that she hangs around with sometimes. And we are meant to believe that, like, he sucks, he doesn't label anything, he's always reaching out to her to allow her to initiate plans, which is annoying, agreed. So we don't really like Theo. However, Theo is a character, right? And up until this point, she just kind of like ghosted him, like he sent her a text and then she didn't respond. She's like, I think I'm done with that. Tell that to Theo. Tell him you're done with him because you're falling in love with this other dude who he doesn't even know about. I don't know. It's so stupid to be like, Theo doesn't really matter. Theo knows you're here on this secret job. He knows more than your mom does. Surely you owe him a text to be like, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. But maybe that's just me, somebody who loves direct communication, and I shouldn't expect that from people in books who rely on miscommunication to get anything done. I hate miscommunication, which is why I hate romance books. Tired of it. So tired of it. So those are my gripes mostly. I think this book is stupid. I don't know. I think it has an identity crisis, which can relate to. Respect an identity crisis, just not in the books I'm reading. Because only one of us can be having an identity crisis at a time. And I don't have this together. So I need my books to have it together. But I don't know. Does it want to be like a historical mystery, I guess? Like, it wants to be Evelyn Hugo so bad, but like Evelyn Hugo wasn't that good. Is that controversial to say? I feel like it aged like milk. I'm so sorry. In a time where Taylor Jenkins Reid was at like her pinnacle, I bought into it. But then on the reread, I was like, this book isn't good. And so this is like, I want to do Evelyn Hugo, but also have a romance in the background. But the romance in the background isn't fun. The Evelyn Hugo parts aren't fun. What's fun about this book? If you're writing a romance book, you should be asking yourself, is it fun? Are the characters fun? Is their dialogue fun? Is anything about this fun? Why do we read this book? Why do we like it? And there are people in my life who like this book. I need them to explain it to me. Sorry for yelling. I wanted to like a book. This is 400 pages. I sat through 400 pages for nothing. I'm not even done yet. I've got like 40 pages left. It's just annoying to me. I hate to be annoyed. Also, maybe you can tell I've been drinking an energy drink. This has 300 milligrams of caffeine. No energy drink should have that much caffeine in one vessel, because this is going to send somebody to the hospital. It's not bad though. I just got to the plot twist and I'm actually very annoyed. I'm so annoyed. I'm disturbing the dogs. I'm now on page 390. So I'm very close to being done with this, right? I don't want to finish. What's the point? What's the point of any of this? Annoyed, irritated, frustrated. Any other synonyms? I don't know. I guess I'll finish this. If I had tomatoes, I'd throw them at the pages of this book. Emily Henry, if I ever meet you on the streets, watch out. Throwing tomatoes. This is so stupid. Why are they fighting? I just mimed vomiting so loud that I woke him up and he was very upset. I'm sorry, Pip. Good stretch though, good stretch. The anger I feel coursing through my veins. I'll admit it, I had the abhorrent thought that maybe we should bring back book burning. I got so mad. This book is so stupid. He agrees, he thinks it's stupid. I'm really mad. I have a page left. We'll be back. It is taking everything in me to not just turn into like the worst version of myself when describing how this book made me feel. Trying to be coherent and nice and maybe a little bit thoughtful. Congrats to somebody who wrote this book, and I'm happy for all the people who enjoyed it. I could not be more frustrated with this reading experience. I feel like this was a waste of my time, a waste of over 400 pages. Theo got a sentence to wrap up his storyline. I don't care about him, but like, why introduce him at all? He didn't need to be a character for any of that. Truthfully, there was no reason for him to be in there. The most entertaining people were her friend group, who were really just there to be quippy. Perhaps we dispersed the quips throughout the book to make it an entertaining experience. Has anyone considered that? And the moral of the story, it's all for love. Who cares? I don't care about this book at all. It made me mad, so props for that. More than neutral, I hate it. Probably the worst Emily Henry I've read. I didn't like Happy Place. Is this worse than Happy Place? Probably. Because at least Happy Place had a point, a direction, I guess. It was insufferable, but in a different way. This made me so mad. This made me really mad. Maybe I'm too caffeinated. I'm so mad. What was the point of any of this? These characters were stupid. Their motivations were stupid. Their communication non-existent. We sit on feelings for a month before we do anything? Come on now. Timeline, whack. Characters, whack. The last 2 pages made me so mad. And I'm not gonna say whatever. If you want to read this book and tell me how you feel about it, please do, because maybe you have the capacity to enjoy things that are meant to be fun, I guess. This was not fun for me. There was a dash of cult stuff, which appeals to me directly. Not even fun there. Glossing over the cult stuff. More cult stuff, less whatever that was. I've mimed throwing tomatoes. I've mimed vomiting. I've booed out loud at the pages of a book. Just sitting here alone. Annoyed. Very annoyed. And I'm glad I won't have to think about this ever again. Sorry that I hate this book. I will be back later when the caffeine high wears off and I'll be able to do like a coherent wrap up, but sorry for wasting everybody's time. Sorry that this book wasted my time. I deserve an apology from this. We're gonna go give the ducks some peas as a treat.
I've returned. And we're finally wrapping this up because I refuse to think about this book any longer. I need to leave it in the past and then never think about it again. I would just like to start off with a disclaimer, as per usual. I didn't go into this trying to be a hater. I have enjoyed her work in the past. I got this book for free because I didn't want to spend money on it because her previous 2 releases left me doubting. And unfortunately, I was proven right. This book was not for me. However, if you like this book, good for you. If you think Emily Henry is the greatest author of our generation, good for you. My opinion is just different, okay? And we will go from there. I have notes to be coherent, okay? Overall, I just think Alice and Hayden were nothing burgers of characters. They did not give me anything to feel attached to. I thought they were incredibly surface level as individuals, and I thought their interactions with each other were also incredibly surface level. The plot centers around them interviewing Margaret over a period of a few weeks. They're trying to win her over in order to write her biography. It's a competition of sorts, except they're not really competing because we later learn their stakes in this make-believe competition are different. So none of it really mattered, did it? So the whole interviewing thing is just a vehicle for them to fall in love. And they do fall in love, except I never bought into it. The whole thing was just so rushed, and it was such a shallow representation of a love connection. I don't like how I said that, but like, you get the idea. It was impossible for me to care about them because there were no stakes, there was no banter, there was nothing. Basically, we just, like, they're hot people. Okay, to quote Shania Twain, that don't impress me much. I need to have a reason to care about them beyond them being 2 attractive people of similar ages. Okay, so they're both writers. I need something else. There was none of the classic Emily Henry banter. There was no connection, no yearning, no romance, to be honest. And it was all just so rushed for me to feel invested, which again is crazy because this book is over 400 pages. There was no reason to rush anything because this is a wild length for a romance novel that has no romance. And I think that is my major issue with this book because I think Emily Henry confuses love and romance. And to be clear, I actually, this might be wild, I don't care if the characters love each other. I really don't. It's about the getting to the love that is the point of a romance book, is it not? So Emily Henry just spends this whole book telling me that these characters love each other, but she never shows it to me anywhere. And truthfully, I would have found it more interesting if they didn't end up together at the end, you know? Especially because they didn't actually love each other. They were 2 people, the only 2 people of the same age bracket on this tiny little town, island, whatever it was, and they spent their entire days interviewing Margaret or thinking about Margaret. That's not love, babe. That's a lack of a social life. There was just nobody else. And then the ending, the plot twist, all of it was so anticlimactic, so rushed, incredibly poorly paced, and it just made me angry. And it's making me angry again thinking about it. To spend over 400 pages, and I keep bringing that up because over 400 pages, again, is wild. To have a book over 400 pages and have it be that poorly paced is outrageous. Overall, this book felt like 2 very different rough drafts of a story haphazardly put together to get a check. And listen, I understand publishing is what it is. It is unfortunate to me that this just seems like Emily Henry had to stick to a contract and turn out a book in a certain amount of time, and by slapping her name on it, it would sell copies. And if it sounds like I'm being harsh, it's probably because I am, okay? Partially because I'm a bit of an asshole. Also partially because I trusted this author for a period of time because I liked her previous work. And this is not an indication of who I know she is capable of being as an author. I don't think it's out of pocket to have expectations for an author. Like, this wasn't a debut. She's well into her career as a writer. So sorry I hated it, I guess. Actually, no, I'm not sorry, okay? Reading as an act demands your time and attention. And I think as a reader who is devoting their time and attention to a book, that time and attention should be rewarded, awarded with a worthy product from the author. And if it's not, I get to complain about it. I didn't feel like Emily Henry cared about this book. So I am entitled, big word for Elmo, I'm entitled to be angry about that. I felt let down. So that being said, I'm done talking about this book. I left a pretty snarky Goodreads review. Feel free to find that if you would like. And generally, my sentiments remain the same. I'm done with this author. I'm done with this genre. Like, I don't foresee myself doing this again because if this is what we're churning out, I'm not interested. There's surely better books out there, and I have faith that I will find them. Just might have to dig through some slop to get there. But this was not for me. And I'm sorry. This was supposed to be a different kind of video, but this is where we're ending up, okay? Okay. So that's where I'll leave you. If you stuck around, thank you for watching. Leave a comment if you have also read this, or if you think I need an intervention of a different sort. Let me know. I will see you next time. Bye. I'd just like to say, I've made it not one, but 2 full videos now without bringing up football. And this doesn't count. This is like a post-credit scene, okay? But just be warned. One of these days, you're going to click onto a book video and it's going to be oops, all football. Okay? Consider yourself warned. Because one of these days, I'm gonna have to bring it back, okay?